Hello hunters, my name is Dark Hero. Welcome back to the YouTube channel where we cover Monster Hunter content. I am so glad you are here, and today I'm going to list you the top 5 best armor sets in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Of course, keep in mind that the best way to go about armor sets is to mix and match to create a mixed set that is powerful and caters to every single one of your needs. As you'll see throughout the video, some of these armor sets do have a couple of pieces that aren't that useful, but on the other hand they'll have some insanely good pieces that will help you create your perfect set. With that being said, let's go over to the smithy and get started. So the set that takes the number 5 spot is the Telstra Crown set. The Telstra armor set is heavily focused on critical eye and critical boost, and of course these two skills are always going to be very useful, as maxing out your affinity and making sure that you deal more damage are usually a priority. With the entire set alone you're able to reach critical eye level 7 and critical boost level 3, which is absolutely insane. You also get Master's Touch level 3, which prevents your weapon from losing sharpness during critical hits. At level 3 this is an 80% chance of this happening, which is very nice. And Telstra's Blessing is a nice skill whenever you're using a fire or a blast weapon. Of course you don't need to go any higher than 2, level 3 and 4 will not do much for you. That being said, a lot of these armor pieces aren't particularly amazing outside of the helmet, which by itself is very good. It comes with critical eye level 3 and critical boost level 1, and it also has 3 level 1 decoration slots. Both critical eye and critical boost are level 2 decorations, and they are very hard to get through curio crafting, so getting 4 of these skills just from a single piece is fantastic, and if you're lucky with curio crafting you could even level up one of these slots to level 2 to add another point of critical boost or critical eye. The vambraces, the waist and the legs are also quite good. The vambraces come with Telstra's Blessing level 1, crit eye level 1 and crit boost 1, and a level 3 slot. The waist also has a level 1 slot, Telstra's Blessing 2 and crit eye 1. And the legs finally have a level 2 slot along with a level 1, as well as Telstra's Blessing 1, Master's Touch 1, and Critical Boost 1. Quite simply, these pieces don't have the same value as the helmet, which has insane value, and if you want to add Telstra's Blessing to your set to increase your fire damage, then these pieces are quite good for that, especially the waist as it comes with Telstra's Blessing 2. One other thing to note about the Telstra Crown X is that it is very similar to the Lunagaran helmet that comes with critical eye level 2, Wirebug Whisperer level 1 and 2 level 2 slots. So depending on the decorations and the skills you're looking to add to your build, this one might be more beneficial. Next up, in the number 4 spot we have the Fiend armor set, a set that has slightly fallen out of favor but is still very good. Being the armor set of the final boss of the game, it comes with a skill that completely changed the meta of Sunbreak. That is, until we got the title update. That skill is of course Dereliction, which will make it so that your health is being constantly drained throughout the hunt. However, if you're using the red scroll, you're going to have increased elemental and status values, and more importantly, if you're using the blue scroll, you will have an increase in attack and stun potency. And this increase is absolutely insane. You can reach some crazy damage numbers thanks to Dereliction. And one other cool thing about Dereliction is that you do heal a little bit of health whenever you perform a switch skill swap. The set also has Chain Crit level 3, which is a fantastic skill to increase your damage, especially with fast hitting weapons such as the dual blades. And not a lot of armor pieces in the entire game come with this set, and this skill is also unable to be obtained through decorations, so very often in meta sets you'll see people using some pieces of the Fiend armor set to get Chain Crit. Resentment is a skill that goes wonderfully with Dereliction, as it is going to increase your attack whenever you have red health, and at level 5 this is a 25 attack boost, which is insane. And finally, you also get Weakness Exploit level 3 with the Fiend armor set. The biggest standout piece of the entire set, in my opinion, are the legs, which come with 2 level 2 slots and a level 1 slot, which is absolutely fantastic, and also 1 point of dereliction and 1 point of resentment. Now, when it comes to skills, you don't really get much out of this piece alone, but I find that having 1 point of dereliction and resentment is going to do you very well, and with the new armor pieces that we got from the new monsters, I find that having more than a single level of dereliction ends up being a bit of a waste because, well, there are only 2 armor pieces in the entire game, the vambraces and the legs that come with this skill, and while the legs are very efficient, the vambraces are not, as they only come with dereliction and resentment, and a level 4 decoration slot. The chest piece is a fantastic chest piece, having weakness, exploit, resentment and chain crit all level 1, and a level 3 slot and a level 2 slot. These are all very useful skills, and chain crit again is a skill that is very hard to come by. The waist is also very good, as it comes with weakness, exploit level 1 and chain crit level 2, but sadly it only has a level 4 decoration slot. So in my opinion, the waist isn't as good as the chest piece. The problem with the chest piece, however, is that we got introduced to some amazing chest pieces that we're going to take a look at in a moment, and so a lot of times you'll end up foregoing this armor piece to use those chest pieces instead. So with dereliction being so hard to add to your sets, and with the new armor sets we got with the new monsters, the Fiend armor set has stepped down from being the very best in the entire game to the number 4 spot, which is still very good, but not as good as number 3, which is the Scorn Magnum armor set, the Sinister Grudge. At a first glance, this armor set may not be particularly amazing, but once you start delving deep into some of the skills, you'll see just how good some of these armor pieces are. Combining both Coalescence and Hellfire Cloak will make it so that you're constantly triggering Coalescence, which gives you a significant power boost, and hey, Hellfire Cloak can make it so that the monsters end up KOing once in a while, which is always very nice. Mail of Hellfire is a skill that, depending on which scroll you're using, will either with the red scroll inflict defense down but give you attack up, and with the blue scroll resistance down but also element up. Of course, depending on the weapon you're using and also the monster matchup, if you're using an element that the monster is weak against it, depending on all those factors, you'll have to decide whether or not using the red scroll or the blue scroll is going to be more beneficial to you. This skill is an insane power boost, and you're not able to get this skill in any other way, so that is why this armor set is so good. Also, Redirection level 2, Wirebug Whisper level 3 are quite good skills, especially Wirebug Whisper, and well, you can just ignore Counter-Strike. The helmet is pretty much what I said at the start, combining both Hellfire Cloak and Coalescence to make it so that you're constantly proccing Coalescence by activating Hellfire Cloak so often throughout the hunt. It also comes with a level 3 slot, which is quite nice. The chest piece is quite good, having Mail of Hellfire level 1 and Wirebug Whisper level 2, but sadly when it comes to decorations it has a level 4 slot and a level 1 slot, which isn't very good. Now the following 3 pieces are where things get really good. The Vambraces come with a level 3 slot and a level 2 slot, as well as Mail of Hellfire and Redirection. That is quite good. But the waist is an absolute standout, having fantastic decorations with a level 4 slot, a level 2 slot and a level 1 slot. And it comes with both Mail of Hellfire and Coalescence, absolute fantastic skills. Again, Mail of Hellfire will provide you with a lot of damage, and Coalescence can be very easily triggered by a number of status effects, and of course, Hellfire Cloak is going to trigger that very easily, and with the new title update we now have a level 4 decoration for Hellfire Cloak, so you'll be able to add that to your sets very easily. And lastly, the legs. They come with Hellfire Cloak level 2 and Wirebug Whisper level 1 and a level 4 slot, which is quite nice, but both Hellfire Cloak and Wirebug Whisper can be slotted in and aren't priority when it comes to skills for your build. But if you're just planning on making an extremely powerful build, then this piece, the waist, is what you want to get out of this set. And now for the number 2 armor set of the video, we have the Silver Soul, the Silver Rathalos armor set. This one is absolutely insane. I mean, you guys probably know that I love this armor set. I've made 3 different videos where I focus on the skills of this armor set alone. If you want to increase elemental damage in any capacity, then you're going to equip at least one piece from this set, and all of them are fantastic. Starting off with the helmet, critical boost level 2 and critical element level 1, that is all quite nice, and also a level 4 slot, along with 2 level 1 decoration slots, makes for a very efficient armor piece. It's not as good as some of the other helmets I showcased earlier, like the Telstra helmet or the Lunageron helmet, but it is still quite good. Now the chest piece, this is the standout piece of the entire set, one that you will see in pretty much 99% of all meta armor sets. Yes, that is how good this piece is. As you can see, it comes with 1 level 4 decoration slot, 1 level 3 slot and 1 level 1 slot, so it is very good in that regard. Fire attack level 3, critical element level 1 and the newly introduced skill, Element Exploit. Element Exploit is going to increase your damage by 10% at level 1 whenever you hit a monster that has a hit zone value of 20 and above. That is going to be quite a significant boost for a lot of your sets, especially if you're using heavily elemental focused weapons like the bow or the dual blades. This armor piece and these 2 skills and these slots are so good that I would recommend you use this chest piece even when you're using, for example, water or, like I have here, ice dual blades. That's how good this chest piece is. You're not using the fire attack for anything, and it still ends up being the best chest piece in the entire game for you to use. One other neat thing about the chest piece is that thanks to curio crafting, you may get lucky and get the option to remove fire attack in order to increase some other skills or improve the decoration slots. Of course, that is going to be a rare occurrence, but if somehow, some way you find a way to save scum and RNG abuse and get the best in slot augments you can have, then you may have a Silver Soul Mail that doesn't have fire attack and, for example, has weakness exploit level 2 instead, which would be absolutely insane. The Vambraces and the waist end up being simple replacements for the chest piece in case you still want to add element exploit, but you want to use a specific chest piece for something else. They are not as good when it comes to decoration slots, both having 2 level 1 slots and the Vambraces having a level 4 slot and the waist a level 2 slot. And when it comes to skills, Constitution may be a thing that you're not really looking for, but they're still quite good alternatives. And finally, the Silver Soul Greaves, they are still quite a good piece. They come with 2 level 2 slots and a level 1 slot. And finally, critical boost level 1, redirection level 1 and maximum might level 2. All of these skills are quite useful, although maximum might and redirection may not be useful for a lot of weapons. But in my opinion, there are much better legs out there, which I'll showcase in a moment. But I would still say that this is a pretty decent armor piece. And before we get to the number 1 armor set in the video, we have a few honorable mentions, starting with the Lucent Argukuga armor set. This set focuses on increasing handicraft and agitator and also comes with a couple of brand new skills which are, in my opinion, extremely powerful depending on the weapon you're using. Those skills are Sneak Attack and Adrenaline Rush. Sneak Attack is going to increase the damage you deal whenever you hit a monster from behind, and the description here is actually mistaken. That is not 12%, it is a 20% attack boost, which is absolutely insane, and you have probably seen some gunlance users abusing this skill because it is incredibly powerful for those weapons specifically. I'm not sure what other weapons can abuse this skill, however, if you're playing in multiplayer, you can pretty much guarantee that the monster is focused on other people, and so you can get behind the monster and abuse a 20% increase in your damage. That is absolutely insane. Adrenaline Rush is also a very powerful skill, giving you an increase in attack power whenever you perfectly dodge an incoming attack. Sadly, stuff like Shrouded Vault or any of the longsword counters do not work, but weapons like the dual blades or the bow are able to abuse this very easily, and as you can see right here, the Vambraces are absolutely fantastic for that. And these armor pieces are still quite good as they give you quite useful skills like Critical Boost and Agitator, all of which are fantastic. The second set I want to highlight as part of the honorable mentions is the Shagaru Megala armor set. Most of the pieces aren't particularly fantastic, but you do get some useful skills like Coalescence, Razor Sharp, and more importantly Bloodlust. The skill will inflict you with the Frenzy Virus, much like when hunting Scorn Magala and Shagaru Megala, and whenever you quote-unquote beat the virus, you'll receive some extra affinity, and that can translate in a lot more damage for your builds. It is also quite nice to combine this with skills like Dereliction to make for a build that will gradually lose HP throughout the hunt, but you have a way to recover it back with this skill. And of course you'll also take advantage of Coalescence to further increase your damage. The final armor piece I want to highlight as part of the honorable mentions is the Malzino armor set. All of these armor pieces are pretty decent, but none of them are particularly amazing, but you can get this armor set very early in the game, and so if you have a friend that is a newer player or you yourself are a new player to the game and just want to have an armor set that is easy to craft and is still very reliable and decently powerful, then this is an easy recommendation, as it comes with great skills like Attack Boost, Partbreaker, Wirebug Whisperer and Weakness Exploit, but it also has plenty of lifesteal through the use of Blood Rites, which makes it so that whenever you hit a monster's part that has been broken, you regain some of the health you deal. So combine that with Partbreaker, that is a pretty nice combo indeed. And the number one set in the entire game in my opinion is without a shadow of a doubt the Gold Rathian armor set, the Golden Loon. Not only did it introduce a couple of very fun and quirky and different skills to use, as in Status Trigger and Foray, it is also one of the very few sets in the entire game that allows you to have Chain Crit, which I mentioned earlier is a very hard skill to get and add to your builds. But it also has very efficient armor pieces, which I think are highly overlooked, and a lot of people are simply using these armor pieces to use the new skills. The Vambraces and the helmet are some easy standouts, the Vambraces having a level 4 slot, a level 2 slot, and a level 1 slot, and for skills having Critical Boost level 1, Peak Performance level 1 and Chain Crit level 1, all of which are fantastic skills. You may not be interested in Peak Performance as it is a skill that is not always going to be active, so you need to be careful about that. You need to remain at full HP in order to use this skill. The helmet itself comes with 2 level 2 slots, Status Trigger level 2, Foray level 1 and Chain Crit level 2. Again, Chain Crit is a fantastic skill, and Status Trigger and Foray are a good bonus if you're using a weapon that has poison or paralysis, like the Gold Rathian Longsword or Sword and Shield for example. Defiance is also a very nice skill that was added with the title update that can only be found here, but you can also craft it through decorations, and it's only a single level 1 decoration slot, so I don't think it would be worth it to use this chest piece just for that, but it does come with Divine Blessing level 3, and a level 3 slot and a level 2 slot. Maybe I'm a bit biased here, but I've been using the Gold Rathian helmet and the Vambraces a lot ever since I got them, and the Vambraces in particular are just absolutely insane. But that is pretty much it for my top 5 armor sets to use in Sunbreak. Of course, as I said at the start of the video, you should try to craft mixed sets and combine different pieces from different sets to make one that you're happy with. But if you need a guiding hand telling you which sets you should focus on getting first, then this video was made for you. Of course, there are also some other armor pieces where the set is pretty bad, but the armor pieces themselves are fantastic, like the Ingot Greaves for example, or the Rathalos Waste. Curio crafting has changed the meta a lot. You can now get stuff like this, like Chain Crit level 1 and a level 2 decoration slot for the Telstra helmet, which makes it absolutely broken, and so it is somewhat hard for me to tell you which armor pieces to use, because at the end of the day, if you end up getting lucky with a different armor piece, then that may surpass the value of what is considered meta. With that being said, tell me what you guys think are the best armor sets to use in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Did I miss any that you think are really good? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Dark Hero, and as always, happy hunting!